Ignorance. That is all you have got to lose when you read, because reading makes you to be more learned, more enlightened about issues around you. And as a friend of mine once told me, readers make leaders, because if you don't read, you cannot lead. You are welcome to Book Affairs, your TV book show. We were here once when we featured a writer and we talked about her book. Today we are not going to deviate from that tradition. We are going to talk about books, we are going to talk about writers, and we are going to talk about how we can use books to impact on you positively. Once again, I welcome you. Yomi Ogunye is my name, and my guest today is a medic and a writer. She is Mrs. Yetunde Olagbuji. She is the writer of The Evolving Giants, a book for adolescents. And madam, you are welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
You are a medic and you are a writer.
Yes.
I want you to lead us into this discussion. How did you come about the art of writing? Tell us, give us a background.
Okay, like you rightly said, I'm a medical doctor, but I think I discovered the act of writing some years ago when I was growing up. I discovered the act of writing, but it was at the dormant stage. So I had the opportunity to activate it after my youth service when I was not doing any work at that time. I was waiting to start residency. So I felt I should just put pen on paper to activate that writing skills I knew I had. I had a lot of burning issues in my mind, and I felt I should just put pen on paper to just communicate so that I can actually impact my target audience, who are the adolescents. Because when I look around, I see young people who just don't know why they are existing, possibly because there's a gap in their knowledge. And so I feel that when I put pen on paper, I'll be able to not only communicate with one person, but at least a number of adolescents who are my target audience can actually benefit from it. So that's how it came about.
Thank you very much for that. I like that it was solemn, burning desire in you, but you decided to activate it. That's a major word there. That's nice. Now let me ask you, the title of your book, this particular book, is The Evolving Giants.
Yeah.
What exactly do you mean by that? What was on your mind when you came, about the title?
Okay. When I look at Punch newspaper and the first page there, that's the crime and the court page, you see a lot of young people there. They parade them as having committed one crime or the other. You see kidnappings, you see young people there, you see armed robbery, you see young people there, rape, and all sorts of things. And I feel that these young people, if they actually know why they exist, I'm sure they will better divert the energy, the youthful energy that they have, into something productive. Because I see in every young person, I see a giant in every young person. And they say that the children are the leaders of tomorrow. But we know that this statement can remain a mirage if active things are not done about it. It's not just saying that children are the leaders of tomorrow, but something must actually be done at the side of the parents, and actually the children also must make efforts to actually ensure that they are leaders. So that's what brought this about. I feel that there are great potentials in young people, and they can actually be giants of their future truly, if they are able to understand certain secrets that can make them to do that. So rather than diverting their energy into unproductive things and into the things that the society will not benefit from, why don't they have that knowledge that will make them to harness this potential in the right perspective? So that's how this came about.
Thank you very much for that elaborate explanation. The book is for the young people,
Yeah.
and you call them the evolving giants, and that's exactly the title of the book, because you see them as a people who are still transiting from one period of their life to another. I really appreciate that, the evolving giants. Now, having talked about the title, let us go into the body of the book. what exactly, is the content of the book? What's the purpose? Why did you decide to write all of this?
Okay, like I explained before, I know that everybody, all have potentials in us. And there's a reason why we were all created. There's a reason why we exist. I believe no one is an accident. But we come to life, and sometimes we start living another person's life because we feel that that's the right thing, without actually sitting down to discover why we exist. And so I feel that when I enlighten people about their uniqueness, their creative abilities, then they will be able to think, they will be able to sit down and think about why they exist. The book, yes, is really targeted at adolescents, young people, that's children between the ages of 10 and 19 years, but it's also for their parents, their guardians, and all caregivers. Because the parents, guardians also they are critical stakeholders in raising their children. So many parents, they contribute to the outcome of their children in later life. There's a chapter of that book that I talked about societal factors that increases the vulnerability of adolescents. That's the children I'm talking about between the ages of 10 and 19 years. So we all have our different quotas in all of this. So like I said, it's not just for the children, but it's also to let parents know their roles and responsibilities and how they can help these children to be able to achieve their God-given destiny. So it's for everybody, as long as you are a mother or you are a father or you have any child you are catering for. You have to get the knowledge so that you can help the young ones to be able to achieve their potentials.
So that you can help the young ones to be able to achieve their potentials. And that's why you have decided to write this book. We hope that quite a lot of our people will read it. Now, somebody said that if you want to hide a truth, you write it in a book. That's when you want to hide the truth from an African.
Yeah.
That now takes us into our society. I want you to comment on the reading habit of our society. What is your opinion about this? Do you really think that the habit is commendable? Because we are targeting the youth now. What makes you think that most of them would end up reading what you have written?
Okay, like you said, it's actually true that what the statement you just mentioned now, that when you want to hide the truth from an African, you hide it in a book. The reading culture is really not really encouraging, and many of the young people are not interested in reading. A lot of technology has replaced reading, and so I mean the physical book now, and so you see them, what occupies their time now is internet, mobile phone, computer, and all the likes. So as to also make it enticing for young ones, I have the online copy of this book that young ones can avail themselves of the opportunity, so that they can also have it downloaded on their mobile phones and read, so that if they don't feel comfortable to carry the hard copies all around, they can also still read the soft copy. It's available. I say it's the jet age. So many things are replacing what used to be. In the olden days, you see, they always tell the children to read. What will you even be doing when the TV stations will not come up till 4 p.m. But now they have DSTV 24/7. They can choose to sit down with DSTV and watch whatever they want to watch. The olden days, it was landline. Your dad, they will even lock it, and you can't receive any call until your dad gives you permission and all that. But now everybody has phones. You can call in the middle of the night. You can do anything the way you want. And so the attention of the young people is now shifting to the technology thing. So that's why for writers, for authors, I also believe that as much as we still go the way we've been doing before, we also need to still go to what will entice the young ones, so that it will encourage them to also read. So like I said, the online copies of this book are also available on my blog.
Thank you very much. So if I may ask you, what type of book is The Evolving Giants, and where was it published? How about the chapterization?
Okay, The Evolving Giant is a non-fiction educational book targeted at helping the young ones to achieve their potentials in life. It has 5 chapters and is about 102 pages. The first chapter talked about the uniqueness of adolescents. What makes them unique? Why are they who they are? Why are they vulnerable? You know, I've been on this program before, not the book review now, but on a program where I discussed why adolescents are unique. You know, they are unique because that period is a transitional period between the childhood and the adulthood, and they undergo a lot of developmental changes. You have psychological, emotional, social changes, physical changes. You know, they are just developing. They are cognitive, you know, their brain development, everything is just happening. And so, you know, they just feel they want to experiment with a lot of habits, adult behavior. They want to have sex, they want to smoke, they want, you know, they are just in that excited stage, and they just want to do everything. And so if they are not properly guided, they usually miss it at this level. And also they run into conflicts with their parents because they feel they are independent and they don't want to be corrected. And so most of the time, you know, it's usually the moms now, they fall, you know, they go into conflicts with them. They don't want to listen. They want to form their own cliques with their friends. They want to do things in solitary manner, and from there they are enticed to whatever their peers want them to do, you know, because they form cliques, they form gangs. So you see them, that's the stage where they want to smoke, the stage they want to take drugs, you know, and those things are prevalent in our environment nowadays. And so that's what makes them unique. And chapter 2 talks about societal factors that increase their vulnerability. The community and the society have a lot to do with this. You know, how knowledgeable are our parents to understand this uniqueness of these children, to be able to guide them. You know, we just see them, we just feel that they are just unduly disobedient, and some of us, we decide to do all sorts of things with beads, and you know, these things does not help them. I say that 21st century parenting is another task on its own. We need to learn how to be a good parent in the 21st century. There are so many distractions out there. We need to be their friends. You know, the African setting, we feel that we can't be friends to our children. We want to be, you know, their lord and all that. And so this thing is really, it makes them even more rebellious. So we need to understand them. We need to understand how to get to them so that they can confide in us. You know, these are societal factors. Then our society too, the society is, you know, this religion thing is just all over the place. I would say it's over religiosity, where you don't want to hear anything about family planning. You don't want to you don't want to even tell them about sex education because you feel it's a taboo. You can't talk about it, and you say you don't want to expose them. And because these children have access to information, they go out there, whatever what their peers tell them is what they do. So society has a lot to do with this. Then also, even the government, most of the time the focus is not really much on this group of young people, because we think the focus is more on maternal and child health, and that's children under 5 and they are more the pregnant women. But we leave this age group. Yes, they are agile, they are energetic, but there are specific problems that occur in them. Now we talk about, you know, I'm sure this is the terminology I want to use because I'm a friend of young people. They talk about olosho. These are common things. They want money, they want different things, and so if we don't find out strategies of getting across to these children, we keep losing them. They are exposed to teenage pregnancy.
Strategies of getting across to these children.
Yes,
we keep losing them.
We keep losing them.
I'll take you up from there when we come back. And
okay.
Thank you very much for watching us This is Book Affairs, and my guest, Dr. Mrs. Yetunde Olagbuji, the writer of The Evolving Giants, has been doing much talking here. She told us about the reason why she has decided to write this book, and she has just told us that the book is all about adolescents. When we come back, we will talk more. Don't go away. Welcome back. You are still watching Book Affairs. My guest, Dr. Mrs. Yetunde Olagbuji, is still very much around, and she's talking about her book, The Evolving Giants. We were talking about the chapterization of your book, madam. Once again, I welcome you back.
Thank you very
Briefly,
much.
Give us a caption of the last three chapters of the book.
The third chapter of the book talks about potentials of adolescents. You know, I showcased so many young people all over the world who are doing great with the potentials and the skills that they have. So I feel that if at least one young child and somewhere in the world, even in Nigeria too, can be doing well, that goes to show that everybody, we can actually also do well. So giving examples for people also to follow. Then the fourth chapter talks about the keys to unlock the giants. You know, there are specific keys for different doors. Being a giant is not just by lip service. You must actually activate certain keys within us. One is self-awareness. You need to discover who you are. You need to use the power of imagination. You need to be able to evaluate yourself. You need to undergo self-development, a lot like that. You need to be able to use those keys to be able to activate the potentials in you as a young person. Then the last chapter talks about complementary virtues of adolescents. You know, these are complementary virtues. You talk about character. Even if you have first class in school and you don't have the required character, you may not be able to go far in life. So these are virtues that you must have compulsorily. Talk about integrity, talk about emotional intelligence. How are you able to manage your emotion as a young person and the emotions of others? So these are many more things that are in the Evolving Giants.
Okay, thank you very much. Now, you have said quite a lot, and I believe all of these are already in this book. If I may ask you, what exactly do you expect of the reader after reading this book? What impact do you think it can engender on the public?
Okay, so let me start with the parents. I want parents to have been able to gain knowledge that will help them that will assist them to help these young ones to grow properly, to be properly guided. Like I said, parents have critical roles to play in the life of their children. So with this book, I'm sure they'll be able to understand the changes, the developmental changes they go through, and also be equipped with that knowledge that will help them to guide these children and make them to be exposed to what they are expected to be exposed to as they grow up. Then for the adolescents themselves, I want them to evolve as giants. The society needs more giants. You can look at Nigeria. Nigeria needs more giants that will solve so many problems that are bedeviling this nation. So that is, I believe that every child who reads this book and makes it a reference should actually come out as a giant at the end of the day.
Thank you very much. You expect that every child that reads this should be able to come out as a giant at the end of the day. Now, on page 64 of the book, I want you to read a portion of it for us. Here it is.
It is known that a locked door usually requires a specific key to be unlocked. Therefore, the use of other keys other than the specified key will result in a waste of time, energy, and effort. This same theory applies to the door of greatness, which requires some keys to be unlocked. Greatness is never coincidental or accidental. Some forces or keys, which can either be physical or mental, have to be consciously applied to unlock it. The keys include self-awareness and discovery, power of imagination, positive attitude, self-evaluation, self-development, self-confidence, self-motivation, and mentorship.
Thank you very much. If I may ask you, what exactly did you have in mind here?
Okay, I think I mentioned that when I was talking briefly about the chapters. This particular chapter talks about the keys to unlock greatness and potentials in adolescents, and one is self-discovery.
Discovery, yes.
Yes, you, as everybody must discover why they are unique. I said there's a glory of the sun and there's a glory of the moon. The two bring light, but they are unique. Sun comes out in the day while the moon comes out in the night. So you must discover, are you a sun, are you a moon, or are you a star? So you must find out why you are unique, because it's only with your uniqueness that you can actually shine forth. If you do mine, then you might not, you won't be a master of it. But when I do mine, I will be surely a master of it. So the skills are there, but you need to activate them. You might discover some of the young people have good talents. Some they love to sing, they love to do also even if sports. You must, but these things are just quiescent until you activate them and you try to develop what you have before people can know you. And I would say that if you keep putting a drop of water on a particular spot, even if it shows no results immediately, but consistency will make people to know you. So that little thing that you have as an adolescent, continue doing it, and I'm sure one day the whole world will celebrate you.
Thank you very much. Now let's talk about your effort and input into this book. You really have spent much time writing this book. What challenges did you pass through in the process of putting up this book?
Okay.
Briefly.
Yeah, let me just say that because I'm a worker, so trying to combine writing also with my normal regular work was a bit of a challenge, but I was able to overcome that when I set clear targets for myself. I said I was going to do this at a particular time, and there's something about me. I have a value, that is integrity. I hate to promise and fail. So I started talking to people. I started telling them, I'm going to launch this book on so date. So that kept me going because I did not want to fail people. So I think that was how I was able to overcome that challenge, because I think I wrote this book for about a year. I wrote one chapter for almost 7 months.
Okay.
But I was able to complete the rest when I decided to handle that. I used that strategy of telling people about it, and I quickly I was able to write up the remaining 4 chapters.
Thank you very much. And in one short sentence, your final comment to the public.
I would say everyone should, parents, teachers, caregivers, guardians, the young people themselves, please get this book. You can also have the online copy if you prefer that on www.bloggingwithyeti.org. You can have the online copy of this book. Thank you very much.
And viewer, thank you very much for watching us. This is Book Affairs, your TV book show. You've been watching and listening to my guest, Dr. Mrs. Yetunde Olagbuji, who has been telling us quite elaborately about her book, The Evolving Giants. She wants the young people to continue to read so that they will be able to evolve into the giants that God has destined them to be. And this is how far we can go on today's episode of Book Affairs, your TV book program. Yomi Ogunye is my name. Thank you very much for watching us. Goodbye.